Hey guys, today I want to talk about this. This is my very modified Fanatec Formula V2 rim, and with Fanatec's recent financial issues, I think it's pretty unlikely that we're going to see any meaningful updates to the Formula line of rims. And meanwhile, Fanatec's competitors have been coming out with stronger, more fully featured and more comfortable rims. And if you're a Fanatec user, you might feel like you're kind of left behind, and the options to get a better rim in your hands would be to go third party and spend a bit more money on someone else's rim. Or you can use the solid foundations of the Fanatec rims and you can mod them. And all of the mods that are on my V2 were designed and fabricated by myself. But the truth is that a lot of the ideas that went into this were inspired by images I saw online or comments I received in my videos. And so I hope that by showcasing all the mods on this rim, it might spark a little bit of creativity in some of you, and you might be the one to create the next big mod for Fanatec Formula rims. But if you're someone who isn't so creatively inclined and you just want to improve your own rim, then perhaps you'll think of visiting my Cult 3D page and downloading the files for some of these mods and printing them yourself. A quick summary of the mods that are on this rim. We have, of course, the latest version of my grips. These are dual materials, so they have a solid PLA core and a soft TPU skin. We have a digital dash display, and this is an old phone, and this is connected with a magnetic quick release, so you still have access to everything underneath here. And we have a fully custom rear shell, which has an integrated 100mm shaft extension. And I'm going to start on the rear shell first because one of the main issues that I had with this rim, and a lot of you have reported the same, is that these thumb encoders are way too loose and you can easily bump them when you drive and you just don't realize that you're changing settings. And for me, that made them completely unusable because you just don't want your car changing settings without you knowing. When I designed the rear shell, I had to start by reverse engineering the standard rear cover, and I ended up accidentally making the clearances behind these encoders just a little bit too tight. And what that did was it creates some drag every time that you try to spin the encoder, and now it actually has just the right amount of resistance, so you can easily adjust it with your thumb, but it's not going to happen accidentally while you drive. So that was a happy little accident, and I'm really happy to find a pretty elegant solution to the thumb encoder issues. I do have standard replacement rear covers available to download and print for the V2 as well as the V1 Formula rims. The injection molded plastic on the Fanatec rims is really prone to splitting right where the screw mounting posts are. And so if you're someone who can't get their cover on properly because the screw just spins and spins and spins, then now you do have the option to 3D print a replacement rear cover in any color you want. My prototypes were in yellow, but black is probably the safer choice. Now, as for putting the 100mm shaft extension on here, if you've seen my previous videos where I've put a shaft extension on the base, I ended up taking that one off because I adapted this Toyota Supra steering wheel onto a Fanatec podium hub, and this has a lot of depth already. The depth of the adapted Supra rim with the podium hub versus the depth of the standard Fanatec Formula rim was quite different. And so by integrating an extension into the back of the Formula V2 rim, I was able to get them fairly well matched up. Now, this version of the rear cover with the 100mm extension, I've decided not to release online for now. And the reason is that these stainless steel posts that I've used to support the extension, I got these from AliExpress. They're meant to be 100mm, but they came completely mismatched with jagged edges, and I had to actually manually grind them all into a matching length. So these rods ended up being 100.6mm long. And that's just a really awkward custom length for you guys to try to source. But let me know in the comments if you think that the 100mm extended rear cover is useful to you, and perhaps I'll put it online. All right, let's talk about the grips now. So this design will be familiar to any of you guys who've seen my previous videos on the 3D printable grips, but this is a subtle but important change. I've integrated a uniform thickness TPU skin onto the grips. And this is not a new idea. 5 months ago when I released these grips, people were asking me about TPU as a material for the grips, and it was always a tough one for me because if you printed the entire grip out of TPU, it was either too soft and not giving you enough stiffness to control the wheel, or you would print it with enough thickness that it became so stiff that it may as well have been PLA anyway. Now, one of my customers did a layer swap material change where the base of the grip was PLA and then the top surfaces were TPU, and that was never an ideal solution to me, I thought, because one, you could only start the TPU at a certain height because everything below that needed to be strong and stiff. And also, when you do that layer change material swap, you end up with a really big chunk of unsupported TPU at the top layers of the grip. And what I ended up doing was going into my CAD software and designing a 3mm wall of TPU where it was needed. And so you actually get support from the PLA all the way underneath the TPU. And this is only possible due to the use of an IDEX printer, which has two print heads, one which is dedicated to PLA and the other to TPU. And this type of handle can't be printed on a Bamboo Lab style AMS, which has a single nozzle. You can't run TPU through the Bamboo Lab AMSs because it's too soft and it doesn't feed through the tubing. So IDEX printers are something that has kind of fallen out of fashion for some reason, but I think IDEX printers are really cool tech and it makes this possible. And I think this is the ultimate DIY 3D printable grip out there. With one click, you get a grip which is strong, which supports the rim against the center hub here. It's really comfortable because of the custom geometry that I designed, and it's just a little bit soft on the periphery, and it feels just as good as a custom molded silicone grip. So this is something that I am really excited about. I have this available as a free update to everyone who's already bought my complete collection of grips. I haven't made the dual material grips available for download separately. Some of my more basic designs you can buy separately if you're on a budget, but this I think is a really premium design. And I might be tooting my own horn a little bit here, but I think that these grips are right up there with the best of them. And finally, let's talk about the digital dash display. So using a phone for a dash is nothing new. SimHub is an awesome piece of software and you should definitely spring a few dollars to pay for the premium license for SimHub because it's just so amazing. But adding the dash to the wheel itself adds a lot of cool factor to your rig, especially if you're seated in a formula posture like I try to in my rig. But the thing is that smartphones these days are pretty big. I actually wanted a smaller phone to use as a dash, but I didn't have anything from 15 years ago. So I ended up with this, I think it's a 6.5-inch screen. But the issue with such a large screen on this rim is that it blocks a lot of the buttons and of course the OLED screen of the Fanatec rim. So I designed this with a magnetic quick release system, and the mount that's on the wheel has cut out so you can still see the rev LEDs, you can still reach the tuning menu button, and you can still use the OLED screen as well. And because I designed the phone case with these tapered pins and magnets, it's self-locating, which means that you can actually take it off mid-race, make adjustments to the tuning menu, and pop it back onto the wheel before the next corner. So that was my rundown of my heavily modded Fanatec Formula V2 rim. I think with these mods, it makes the Formula V2 totally current, and I would be quite happy to race this for many, many years. Let me know in the comments if you think there's something on the wheel that is missing. One thing that I will quickly add, AliExpress QR2, totally worth it. It's wonderful. I have the wheel sides as well as the base side QR2 from AliExpress. It's awesome. But yeah, I don't think that there's anything left to mod on this. Everything I think has been evolved to the best that it can be, which is kind of famous last words because I thought that my grips were complete when I released them in April, but all of you who've bought the package will know I've been releasing an update for them every 2 weeks or so, which might be a bit annoying, but the designs have just gotten better and better, and this dual material, which with just one click, you can get this awesome, comfortable, strong grip, I'm just so excited about, and I would really appreciate if you guys could spread the word and just let people know that the DIY options are getting better and better, and also to spread the word about IDEX 3D printers, which I think are really cool, and you just don't see that many around these days. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to leave a comment with your grand ideas for Fanatec Formula rim mods. I'm always amazed at the creativity that the community has, and I'm really looking forward to having my mind blown with the next big idea. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching.